I'm joined by University of Central Oklahoma tight end coach and recruiting coordinator Dimitri Donald. Coach, thank you for taking time this afternoon or this evening to talk to me. Could you start by telling the viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, no problem. First of all, I want to say thanks for allowing me to be able to come on here. But like you said, man, my name is Dimitri Donald. I'm the tight ends coach and recruiting coordinator here at Central Oklahoma. I'm originally from League City, Texas, which is about south of Houston. Played college football at West Texas A&M, a Division II school in the Lone Star Conference. Played there for 4 years. Finished up with my bachelor's in accounting. Didn't think I wanted to be a football coach. My high school coach, Clint Harmon, actually told me in high school I'd probably be a good football coach. And I was like, no, I don't think I want to do that. But was doing business stuff, working at a bank for about 2 years, and got a call to Harding University, where I started my coaching career as a GA, coaching receivers. I was there for 1 season, learned a lot. Then, was blessed to move to Georgia Southern. I was there 3 years, became full-time there, year 2020, full-time receivers coach. Then bounced to Abilene Christian after a year there and linked up with Coach Doral, and I was there 1 season, and, things didn't really work out. He decided to bring me along here to University of Central Oklahoma. So got some family down in Lawton, Oklahoma. So it was kind of a, when they heard I got offered this job, they were kind of like, you got to go, my grandma and them. But so I've been here, man, since January, and, wanted a few to come over with him and just been, trying to get things going. And it's been fun and exciting, man. No doubt.
Now you mentioned that I believe you were like an all-district, all-county, all-state receiver as a senior, over 1,000 yards. So for those who haven't seen you play, how would you have described your game?
I wasn't always the fastest. Was not very fast. You can ask anybody that. Not fast at all, man. I was quick. I was a smaller, quick receiver, and I had really good hands. Really good hands with a really good route runner. That's why I prided myself on just being a technician and really focusing on the finer details of the game, because I didn't have that elite top end speed like a lot of guys, some guys are blessed with. So,
and then what made you decide that West Texas A&M was where you wanted to play your college football?
West Texas. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first went on my visit to West Texas, it was snowing, and coming from Houston, and we don't get a lot of that. So I remember showing up, and me and my mom and my dad, we got to the hotel to check in. I remember telling them, like, man, I'm not coming here. I just wasn't. It was just, nah. I just couldn't do the cold, man. And then, I think what really sold me is I met one of my best friends, Ethan Morris. We were both team captains at West Texas. I met him, and then on my visit, Britton Golden and Jeremy Watson were hosting me on my visit, and my position coach Jared May was a big factor in me going there. And ultimately, in the long run, man, it was pretty much the best decision for me. Looking back on it, just the connections I made, the relationships I made there, and then I got to give a shout out, Coach Sarah Ramey, our strength coach at West Texas, also played a huge role in me going there. Just meeting with her on the visit and hearing her speak about the development aspect of it, from a weight room standpoint, it just felt like the right fit.
And I believe you were a 2-time team captain. What did that mean to you to not only be a captain once but twice?
It was just, it was really humbling, honestly. Going into it, being team captain your junior year and team captain your senior year, just being voted on by your peers. I think for me, I think that's like one of the biggest honors. You know what I mean? Everybody sees a guy who's leading the team in catches and touchdowns and making all the tackles. But I think being voted team captain is a big deal as a player, especially if you can be voted as team captain as an underclassman.
And in 2012, I think you won the conference, and then you got to I think it was the semis. What about that year stands out to you the most?
I think the thing that stood out the most that year was just the guys. Really, we had a really good team. And West Texas has always been a dominant Division II program, and not only football but all sports. But winning conference that year was a really great feeling, just because in high school I played on some really good teams but never did get a chance to win a state championship. So that championship was really my first championship on the football level, and then going all the way to the semis. We fell up one game short from the national championship game and ended up losing to Winston-Salem that year. But it was just the guys in the older group and learning a lot from them and just kind of learning how to win, honestly, and then understanding my role was important. I played majority special teams that year, and it was just it was a really, really fun year football.
So then your playing career ends, and you said you went into banking. So then, how do we go from banking to coaching?
Man, it was nuts. So I really I decided to get my accounting degree because I remember when I was younger, my mom used to pay somebody to do her taxes. And I was like, dang, people pay people to do taxes for them. So I was like, man, that sounds dope. And I was like, man, I get into accounting, get a business degree, always have a job with a business degree. And I was doing a banking deal, and I did that for 2 years. It wasn't bad, but just sitting behind a desk, suit and tie really didn't fit me. I started, helping out volunteer in my high school a little bit, and then got the call to go GA, which when I first told my dad, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go GA and work for free basically at Harding. They was like, dang, that's crazy. Why would you do that? But my mom was like, they're going to pay for you to get your master's. Go, get out of my house. I was like, all right, I'm going. So I went there, man. It was a learning curve, but it was a good decision. It all worked out for me.
So what was the hardest part of the transition into coaching for you?
I think the hardest part for me was, I want to say, just going to Harding. I had my own room to start off with. So I think the hardest part was just understanding that separation from player and coach. Because when I first started, like I said, 2017, I was just 2 years removed from playing. So just understanding that, you're not a player anymore. You know what I mean? Now you're a coach. You got to teach and understanding, one, that the kids that you're teaching, you got to find out their different learning styles and figure out how you can more so effectively communicate to each and all of them, understanding that they all learn differently. Some guys learn by watching films, some learn by being on the board, some learn by walkthroughs, actually getting out there on the field and doing it. I think that's the biggest adjustment, really. And then for me, it was crazy because I went from a spread offense in high school to a spread offense in college, and then my first coaching job was Ernest and triple option, coaching the receivers. So I was like, dang. So having to learn a whole new offense, man, and move to a whole nother state. But Ethan Morris actually helped me get the job. So having him there, we lived together. It kind of made the transition a little smoother. And then I was blessed to be with some really good coaches with Paul Simmons and Matt Underwood and those guys down at Harding. So good year.
So how long do you feel like it took you to kind of get a good hang on coaching?
I want to say I got down there in the summer. So I got down there probably early July. Was able to meet all the guys. We had a lot of guys there for the summer. But I think I want to say that fall camp really, that whole fall camp really helped me, honestly, trying to kind of transition. I will say this is my first time being in there in a staff meeting, offensive staff meeting with Kenny Wheaton and going through the option, he's awesome when it comes to option football. I was confused because as a player, you think you know football, and then you get in there with coaches and it's like, dang, I didn't know nothing about football. But no, I wouldn't say that fall camp and that whole season, I was just kind of learning on the go. Watching a lot of different clinics and a lot of different coaches who I got respect for, and just calling different, my high school coaches and calling them, seeing things that they did, reaching out to other people in the profession, and just kind of finding my way and finding my own coaching style. So I want to say that first season, I didn't really click until halfway through, you know what I mean? Just leaning on a lot of different people and not being afraid to ask for help. I remember Chris Hill, who was the OC at the time. I was in his office a lot. Matt Underwood, all those guys just asking for help and different tips and pointers and everything as that season progressed.
And you mentioned during that time you found your coaching style. How would you describe your coaching style?
I would say my coaching style is one, I'm a teacher, and then I'm very passionate about what I do, and I would say that just very understanding. You know what I mean? I think you have to understand, like, the players. The players don't live it like we do as coaches. So being able to bridge that gap and understand and get them to best understand what you're trying to get done, and just start small and then work to the bigger picture. I feel like if you can get players to understand where they fit and why they have to do certain things when it comes to certain concepts in the run game and the pass game, it better helps them learn. So that's how I would describe my coaching style.
Okay. And then after your time, well, I guess what sticks out to you the most about your time at Harding?
I want to say just the players, really, the players and the relationships, and just learning that system was very helpful for me because it forced me to get out of my comfort zone. Because I didn't know anything about option football, but being able to go there and adapt and learn, and then we had a pretty good season, man. It was crazy because we started off 0-3, and I had never had a losing season in my career as a player. So I was like, oh no, I don't know. I remember telling Ethan, I was like, man, I don't know if this is gonna work for me. I was like, man, I ain't used to losing, man. But we rattled off 11 straight wins, man. Got to the semis, played Texas A&M Commerce, came up short. They ended up winning the whole conference, the national championship that year, 2017. But for the most part, I want to say just the kids, and then just the staff, and just seeing a different state, like different high school football, like in Arkansas. Meeting those coaches, they were great, they were awesome. And then just being in a different Division II conference at JC, it was all good, man. It was a good time.
And then from there, you go to Georgia Southern, and your first year there, you all had a massive turnaround. You were 2-10. You were 10 the year prior. You were 10-3. So like, what? Okay, now what happened during that season? Because I mean, that's a massive jump in
yeah. Well, it was crazy because when I'm at Harding and the job at Southern opened up, and I was blessed that Kenny Wheaton, who I was with at Harding, he knew Bob the Best, who was the OC there at the time. And I was like, they offered me a job, and I was like, well, dang, they were 2-10 the year before. Chad Lunsford was going to his first year as full-time head coach, and we had just won 11-3 at Harding, bringing a lot of guys back. So I was like, man, what, but it was an opportunity, learn a different offense because we were running the option from the gun, and like I said, it was a chance to go FBS and be a grad assistant. So that 10-3 year was crazy, man. It was nuts. It was nuts. But it was really fun, man. Got to go to a bowl game. We won the Camellia Bowl on a Tyler Bass walk-off field goal over Eastern Michigan. So we got a ring there. It was a lot of really crazy things that had to happen, man. Crazy thing. We had a plus 22 turnover margin. So, I mean, we were trading turnovers. We weren't turning the ball over, man. We had some really good players who bought into what we were doing. And it was just, overall just a great, staff effort, and just kudos to the players, man. They bought in what we were doing. They fought, and then they just found a way to win games. And it was just a really great year.
And then you stay there for a couple of years, and then you end up at Abilene Christian with Coach Dorrell. So how do we get to the point where you go from Georgia Southern to Abilene Christian?
So I was at Georgia Southern that last year. We got to change the offensive coordinator. I remember Coach Chad Lunsford called me. And it was crazy, man, because I got my first full-time job at Georgia Southern, and I got fired from my first full-time job. So it was crazy, man. I'd been through a lot in my young coaching career. So that was kind of a blessing in disguise, man. I got the call from Coach Mario Jarabel, who's with the Atlanta Falcons right now. He was the O-line coach at Abilene Christian. He called me up, offered me a receiver's GA job, and I was like, cool, like, I'll go. I got there. I talked to James Curley, who's at UCO now. We formed a really good relationship. Coach Josh Lamberson, who was at UCO, now he's at Central Missouri. It was just something about the staff, man. I took the job and got down there, and it was crazy because Mario ended up leaving to the Falcons, and then we moved Drew Little to O-line. I remember I was at Abilene Christian for like a week and a half, and then Coach Dorr called and was like, you want to coach tight ends? And I was like, well, I never coached tight ends before. And he was just – one of the things I respect about him is he told me, he was like, it'll help you in your career, man, help you learn run game, You get to go to a new position. He's like, receiver play, pass game, from playing it and coaching it all this time. So he asked me to coach tight ends, and I said yes. And that whole year it was kind of a change, learning a different offense again, because we're more pro style, with Coach Doral. And I leaned a lot on not only Coach Curley but also Coach Doral himself, and also Coach Drew Little, who was coaching my O-line at the time, just getting drill works and different tips and things like that when it comes to coaching tight end position. They helped make the transition easy. And, I've always appreciated that about Coach Doral. He's very transparent with a lot of things, and, he gave me an opportunity. So
what was the biggest learning curve moving from receiver to coaching tight end?
The biggest learning curve, I would say it's all the communication, man, within the run game. In my opinion, and like I said, I'm only saying this because I coach him. I think tight end is one of the hardest positions on the football field. I think you got to be a really good athlete, and you got to be really, really smart and versatile, because, you got to know what's going on in the run game, and you also got to be able to know what's going on and how you fit in the pass game. But I think the biggest thing that I had to learn was how to manage my individual time, understanding that, you got this set amount of time where you got to do a really good job throughout the week of figuring out where your guys are deficient at and what you need to work on to squeeze it all in. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And just understanding, like, hey, like what I do is I got a sheet, with all my drill work, and I kind of go through, and at the end of like Wednesday, I go and I look at it, and it's like, okay, well, we need to probably hit this, or we need to probably hit that. Does that make sense? And it's just organizing, trying to figure out like how to fit all your anytime in, man, and be most efficient with it when you come to drill work.
So the thing you keep having to learn new offenses. Does it ever like get to a point where it's confusing, or do you get things mixed up from the different offenses, or can you kind of keep it in check?
Not really. It's more so you got to get in. I like to think, football. Think of football as being like universal football, right? Even though like we were in a option offense at Georgia Southern, like if we handed the ball off on the dive, it was, we were scheming it up with like inside zone. So inside zone, regardless if you're at Abilene Christian or if you're at Georgia Southern. Now the blocking scheme, the way you block things was a little different. But, for the most part, it's all, I did, I was just really big on taking notes, man, like just taking notes. I was to the point where, anytime Coach Doral says something, or Coach Curley says something when it came to like run game, or Coach Drew, Coach Little, it was just like write it down. You know what I mean? Just write it down and study it. And I think that's part of, what kind of helped me is just studying and not being afraid to ask questions. Okay. Like, I live with Coach Curley. I still do. I lived with him at ACU, and it was just like, we had a whiteboard at the house, and it was like, anytime I had a question, like we'd sit there and we'd watch the film after practice together. And I'd be like, hey, like, what do you think of the tight end right here? You know what I mean? Like, what would you tell them? Just trying to get a more understanding overall of a totality. I remember like me and Drew, like we'd go in there and we on Thursdays, before we did Thursday after practice or whatever, we'd go in there and we would just go through like what we were going to give the guys like tips and reminders. We would draw through every run play to different fronts or protections or things like that. So that kind of helped me learn it a little bit more, is just not being afraid to ask questions.
Okay, so then talk about when did you, I guess, how did you find out when Coach Doral decided to bring you with him from Abilene to UCO?
It was crazy because I was actually packing up my stuff in Abilene, man. I was going to go back to Houston, chill at the crib for a little bit, but he called me, and he, it was rumors around that he could possibly get in this job. I didn't know. But when he called me, he was like, hey, I'd like for you to come coach tight ends with me. I got the UCO job. And I told him, I said, well, Coach, I kind of want to see the place first and, sit down with you and ask some questions. And then obviously Coach Sanders is here. Rashad Sanders, our D-line coach. Me and him played together at West Texas. So he was in my ear like, you got to come, man. You got to come. We could turn this thing around. And I was like, all right, Rashad. I was like, man, let me come see it first. And then I had my family in Lawton who were they were excited. My mom's family in Lawton. So my mom was like, man, it'd be great. You know what I'm saying? Your grandparents down there, all your family. So I remember coming up here for the press conference where they introduced him. And I think the thing, that kind of sold me was just the support from the administration. I'm a big believer that, a football program is only going to be as good as the support from administration to people from the top. And just the talks I had with Stan Wagner, our AD, about his future for the program and how he was going to support us and the boosters and everything like that. And then I remember sitting down with Coach Dorland. He explained his vision. He explained why he thought he could win here. And he sat down, and I remember telling him, I was just like, he was explaining all that. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm in, and then he asked if I wanted to be the recruiting coordinator, which I had no experience of being a recruiting coordinator, never done it before. And he was like, I think you'd be good at it. And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, okay, I'll do it. I was like, I'll do it, man. I love recruiting. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'll do that for you. So at that moment, like, it really changed when I came for that press conference, man, and just seeing the support we had, and then seeing the school, the university as an academic, from an academic standpoint, and then just a facility standpoint. And it was just like, for me, another year to learn the tight end position and get a year, under my belt as a recruiting coordinator. So I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm in.
Okay, now you are a recruiting coordinator. So, like, what does that really detail? Like, what is that? What is that role?
Everything. Everything, man. Like, look, I tell people all the time, man. Like, everybody in the country is running inside zone. Everyone's, tackling, running the ball, catching the ball. It's, you get really good athletes on your team, really good players, man, to make my job a lot easier. So, no, I'm kind of, I wear a lot of different hats. I do all the recruiting stuff. I do the social media stuff. I'm a social media coordinator as well. So just recruiting, man, is just understanding, help evaluate kids, help set up, all the stuff on the pipelines, make things easier for our coaches, map out where they're going to go on the road when it's time to recruit, help organize and get kids to campus to come visit, set up, visits for in the fall. We'll have game day visits and official visits. And it's just a lot of organization, man, a lot of organization, having to work hand in hand with our compliance office and then our administration as well to get these things all organized. And I can say this, we were able to put together our 22 class, which I think is a really talented group. They're here now working out, and I think we have a really good class, man. And, it's just UCO's brand. You probably see it on social media, man. It's just, I get it all the time. People are like, dang, UCO's all over social media. And, that's what, as a recruiting coordinator and social media coordinator, like, that's what I want. You know what I mean? It's, yeah, you got OU, you got Oklahoma State, you got Tulsa, but then, you got UCO. And I just want a lot of people to know about us and our brand. And when they see the logo, they know, they know who we are. So that's just a gist of.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you guys, I was just saying that's just a short synopsis of what I do.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the 2022 class. And I was very impressed when I sat down and I watched the film. The quality class you all were able to put together in such a short time, because Coach Dorland didn't get the job till like late November, early December, and then obviously had to assemble you all. And the two tight ends you went out and signed, Oscar Hammond from Collinsville and Tyler McCarty out of Tuttle. What did you like about those two?
So I'll start with Oscar first. So Oscar's film, you watch it, it's kind of different because he didn't play any tight end. He played outside receiver and he played safety. So, but when you watch his film, what you see is a lot of athleticism, man. And what we do with our tight ends, you got to be athletic. You got to be able to play in space, and you also got to be able to, put your hand in the ground and help us in the run game, blocking wise. But you look at his frame. He has an older brother who's about 6'2", 6'3", and he's huge. So it's more so just a projection thing, man. Broad-shouldered kid, he can run. So he, his frame, he can hold a lot of weight while still maintaining his athleticism. So I'm excited about him. Like I said, I think he can do a lot of different things. I tell my coaches all the time, when you talk about universal football, we just want to recruit a bunch of really, really good athletes and then find places for them to play on the football field. And then I'll talk about Tyler. Tyler, to me, just looking at his high school film and just looking at him, I think he was a steal. I think he was a steal, man, for us. You talk about a freshman coming in who's 6'7", 235 pounds already, right down the street in Tuttle. Really good basketball player. So, he just played, going to watch him play basketball. The kid averaged like 15 and 20 in basketball. So, he has really good feet, really good hand-eye coordination. He's really, really strong already. So you get both of those guys in here. Obviously we got Dante McGee, who in my opinion is, one of the top tight ends in this conference, can do a lot for us. So just getting those guys in here and letting them learn from him a little bit. I think the sky's the limit for both of those guys, man.
Now you already mentioned Dante. Now I know you had the spring to kind of get to know the group that you inherited.
Yeah.
What did you learn about that group? What do you like about that group that you kind of inherited?
Well, first I learned, one, they want to be coached. They're eager to be coached. You talk about they come to the office all the time just trying to learn. They've done a really good job of just, watching film, asking questions. And then I learned, we got a really athletic group, man. I'm coming from not only Georgia Southern, but also Abilene Christian. I've been blessed to see some really good, talented tight ends. Had a lot of athleticism, and this group is right there with them. I think true-heartedly, I believe Dante McGee could play in the NFL. That's just my opinion. And I think, with him buying into what we're doing, and you see it right now, like he's really changed his body. I think he's set himself up to have a really great senior year. But no, I got a really athletic group, man, who love to play football. And, they can do a lot of things, not only in the run game, but also in the pass game. They've bought into just our standards, being technicians, playing with hand violence, and then just having a role, whether it be having to play 45 to 80 plays or playing on 3 or 4 special teams, that they want to play football. So we're a young group, but, I'm excited for them coming up this fall for sure.
Yeah, I share your sentiment with Dante because I know in the past he hadn't gotten a lot of opportunities, but when he did, you could see there's something special in there with him. And you mentioned the lack of experience, Willie, and he's the lone upperclassman. I know talking to him, he mentioned leadership is something that's got to be big for him this year. How do you feel like he's coming along in that regard?
Well, I think he's made tremendous strides as being a leader. I think part of being a leader is understanding and learning how to lead. One thing Coach Doro and us as a staff focused on this whole spring was we didn't talk anything about goals. It was more so about culture. We were 4-7 last year, but a lot of those games, and because you covered them, they were close games, right? They're, winnable games. A play here or there, and it's like, man, this could probably be a playoff team. So, but, the guys have done a good job, man, buying into what, we're trying to do. And like I said, Dante's right there. He's become more of a leader. And, the biggest thing I'm happy and proud of him for is he's bringing guys along. When I'm over there coaching one tight end that's in, he's in the back coaching up young guys, trying to give them tips and different things that he does to try to, make the game easier for him. He's been great with our freshmen so far. Him and Tyler live together, and they're constantly pushing each other. So I think it'll be good, man. Like I said, we got a young group, man, but, Dante's going to be a leader for us, and definitely excited, about the entire group coming into the fall.
You mentioned you talked culture, trying to instill the culture. How has that process gone? Have guys been buying into that? Because the few I've talked to, they really seem to have bought in and really have kind of, it seemed like, taking the bull by the horn.
Yeah. I think one thing, we're proud of our guys for is they've done a good job of buying into what we're trying to get accomplished. You know what I mean? We haven't had a lot of guys who have, been reluctant to buy into what we're doing. And I think you can see that just by the spring game. The guys are holding each other accountable from a player standpoint. And it's everyone on the team, not just our, leadership council guys who we voted for. It's everybody. one thing that we've noticed, just in our short time here is you come around and you watch our guys work out and let's take it from a recruiting standpoint. We've had numerous of parents come and tell us, man, your guys practice so hard, or, they're so respectful, or the energy is just different at UCO right now. And I think you see that not only on campus, but also throughout the community. You go around places to eat and things like that, and people are like, man, like you coach at UCO football. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like excited about this fall, not just, obviously the renovations and everything going on from that aspect, but I think, from the community to on campus, I actually went and talked to fraternities and sororities about our program, and they're excited about this fall coming to games. And I think if you were at our spring game, we had a pretty good turnout at our spring game. I know we got canceled due to weather, but I think it's a testament to not only our players, but also our staff of just trying to help build the brand and image of the university and of the program.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so now you mentioned earlier that your main goal is you want to recruit athletes, and then you can kind of coach them from there. But like, is there any specific traits that you look for when you're looking at potential tight end recruits?
Yeah. So when it comes to recruiting tight ends, I like guys who play multiple sports. I love basketball players because the footwork aspect of it, a lot of stuff in the run game, you got to have really good footwork, especially, when it comes to blocking, also being out on the edge, blocking guys in space, and then just the hand-eye coordination. And then, if they wrestle, that's another plus, just because, wrestling is a tough combative sport. You got to be tough to play that position, the tight end position. But no, it's just more so just trying to get athletic guys who have the size and frame to do what we're going to ask our tight ends to do. And then obviously you got to be smart. I think one of the most crucial aspects for me when I get guys in here that play tight end and we meet is I love to show them their high school film. And then I show them film of our tight ends and what we do. And I just kind of show them like where it correlates and, how they fit in what we do offensively. So that's really the biggest thing that I'm looking for when I'm recruiting tight ends.
And so heading into camp, I guess what do you feel like you need to see the most improvement out of your tight end group?
I think the most improvement going into fall camp that we're putting a big emphasis on is just technique. Just technique. This spring, I just kind of wanted to see who can play football, who would get in there, who'd be physical, who would fight, and that type of deal. I think they did a really good job with that. Now it's more so fine-tuning the technique aspect of it and also improving just our overall football IQ. Not so much of only our playbook and what we do offensively, but also your understanding of the defense. I'm a big believer that the more you know from a football IQ standpoint, the more the game will slow down for you, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of our emphasis going throughout this summer. And then heading into fall camp, that's going to be our biggest emphasis getting ready for that first game.
I guess my final football-related question to you would be: what do you hope to see out of your unit this season?
The tight ends or the whole offense?
I guess you could say both. I guess
both. What I want to see out of the tight ends, really, like I said, I just want them to kind of having a young group. We're gonna have a lot of guys who, well, outside of Dante, we have a lot of guys who are just playing their first snaps of college football. So I think I just want to see constant improvement as we go week to week. And some guys are going to have to grow up fast. You know what I mean? They're going to have to adjust to the speed of the game. So just understanding that the season is a marathon, not a sprint, especially being in this conference that we're in, probably the toughest conference in Division II football. You're going to see a lot of good teams each and every week. As you know from covering it, man, it's a dogfight each and every week. So just for them to be able to handle it maturity-wise and understanding that, hey, you might get beat on a play, but it's not the end of the world. Like, you got to bounce back and let's go. And then just, being selfless. We talk about all the time our core values of being selfless, tough, and disciplined. Instilling those core values in them and then having them to be able to lean back on those when things get tough throughout the season. And then as far as the offense, man, I think coming into this as a staff and just seeing the guys that we had offensively, I think we have a lot of playmakers. We have a lot of dynamic football players on our offense, including guys that we are getting back. And then when you add in just our freshman class with that, like we have a ton of really good football players. Now it's going to be more so, like I said, same deal with tight ends, same deal with the offense, just being able to fall back on all the things that we worked on from January up into when we go to kick off week one, and just relying on your core values and then just your goals and everything that you've learned and not straying away from those when things get hard. So I think that's one of the things I'm looking for the offense. I think we got a chance to be a really good offense, and just a really good team in general. So I'm excited, man, for sure.
Well, before I get you out of here, I do this with all the new guests. Kind of get to know you questions.
Okay.
You have a favorite sports team?
Favorite sports team? It'd be wherever LeBron James is playing.
So that he's currently a Lakers fan, and we know it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough season.
It was tough, man. It was tough.
Now, can they turn it around next year?
Yeah, I think they can, man. You look at, I mean, a lot of the games, I mean, they just were not healthy. And like in the NBA, it's all about continuity, just like football. You got to be able to play with guys, and obviously bringing Russ in. I know Russ gets all the slander. You know, they're quick to, diminish him by how he played last season. But then again, that's only one season, right? If that's the case, heck, I've coached bad games, so I'm glad they don't, diminish me off of one bad coaching game. But I think, they getting a new coach, getting a ham guy in there, and I'm excited, man. I think you get LeBron healthy, you get AD healthy, and you give those guys a full training camp off season, kind of work with each other and get to know each other. I think sky's the limit. They'll be fine.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, your favorite hobby outside of football?
Gaming. When I'm not sleeping. I work a lot, man, so I enjoy my sleep. But I'm a big gamer, man. Y'all probably see it on there, man. I'll be Twitch streaming and all that good stuff. So I'm big into gaming.
Okay. Now what's your game of choice?
So first of all, I'm on PS4. I don't do Xbox. I'm not an Xbox guy. I'm a PlayStation 4 guy through and through. But no, so when I first started streaming, I used to work at the bank. I was streaming big, got into it. I was a big Madden guy. I used to play online franchises, all that. 2K as of late. I've been on Call of Duty Warzone a lot. That's probably my game of choice right now. A lot of my, followers on Twitch and everything in the comments, they want me to play Rocket League, so I downloaded it. Haven't played yet, but I promise them I will get to it. But no, I'll probably pick back up on Madden and 2K here this summer when I got some time off, man. Get on there and play a little bit.
So who has been your Madden team of choice?
Madden team of choice, it's crazy because I kind of play with a lot of different teams. I will say, doing the online connected franchise, sometimes you get stuck with just random teams and you just got to kind of make it work. So I really don't have a Madden team of choice. I just kind of go with the flow, man. I just kind of go with the flow.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, your favorite TV show.
Favorite TV show, man. This is tough. Snowfall. I'm a big Snowfall guy. Law and Order SVU. Man, I watch a lot of TV. The Office. I watch every season episode of The Office, man. But no, Snowfall probably that's one of the hottest shows out right now. So anybody watching this, if you ain't seen it, go check it out. It's a pretty good show.
It is pretty good. You have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie, Paid in Full, hands down. Okay. Paid in Full. That is by far, that's my favorite movie for sure. Okay. Love it. Classic.
See your favorite musical artist.
Favorite musical artist, Lil Wayne. Okay, and I know everybody give my man slander, but growing up, I was coming up in the age where he was like going with, so hands down, that's my favorite musical artist, man. I'm the Carter 2 to Carter 3 were some of the best albums out. When the mixtape era was going, he was the hottest one out, with the No Ceilings, the Drought 3, all that good stuff. So I'd say Lil Wayne for sure.
So you are in the camp of old Lil Wayne over new Lil Wayne.
No, I'm through and through. It's the same
Okay.
deal with LeBron. When LeBron started playing, and if he did ever decide to start tailoring off a little bit, I'm still riding with him, man. Nah, I'm through and through. I ain't no fair weather fan. I mean, that's him. He's him. He can do no wrong. So I'm good.
Okay. Well, I asked that because your quarterback is Stephon Brown and running back
Yeah.
Jace Gardner. They're on the old Lil Wayne. Even though Jace tried to clean it up at first, try to give Lil Wayne some credit. So I just thought that was okay.
Them kids so young, man. They don't even know what they ain't listening. They ain't. No, they ain't listening, man. So
Okay, so your favorite Lil Wayne song.
my favorite Lil Wayne song, gosh dang, The Mob on the Carter 2, Three Pete on the Carter 3, Banned from TV. God dang. It's just so much. You can go into like the Dedication 2. That mixtape is a classic. I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard to just name one. I could just go on and on. Playing with Fire, Money on My Mind, like the block is hot. Like, I mean, it's so many. Leather So Soft, hustler music, like it's just classic after classic, man. Like I could like when I drive on the road, I just literally go to Lil Wayne, hit shuffle, and just let them all ride, man. Let them all ride. It's gossip. Like I can name songs that people be like, dang, what song is that? I ain't know song. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a lot.
Now you're from Texas, so did you ever get into the Texas rap scene? Because I know
Oh
Houston is
yeah,
big with the
yeah.
DJ Screw and all that. So were you ever into that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm a big UGK fan. Pimp C, Bun B, all those guys. Zero is one of my really guy I like to listen to. He's good. Big Mo. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. Houston like its own little, you know what I'm saying? We got our own little vibe down there. So no, I'm big into it for sure.
Yeah, I recently got into it. I guess maybe a couple of years ago, and it's like it's all I listen to now. Like, I'm like, man, this is really good, and I can never talk to people about it because they don't know. So like,
it's different. Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this here, man. You from Houston, obviously me being from that, that area, just that Zero Mo City Dawn freestyle. Like if you from Houston, you know that song. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't heard it, go listen to it. Like I said, we got the players in the locker room banging it now, like they from the city. So I kind of get a pass. But nah, it's listen, they got I'm here, I'm from Lee City, which is south of Houston, and then we got Coach McGuire, he a fellow Houston guy as well. So we got two on staff right now. So
okay, good, because like I said, I'm a big fan of the Houston music scene. Okay, let's see your favorite food.
my favorite food, my mom's chicken Alfredo pasta.
Okay,
So it's by far is really good, man. It's top of the game right there. It's pretty good.
okay. Now, when you were a player, were you one of these that was dressed to the gills in gear, or were you more just a plain Jane? You were just out there just to play.
Nah, so my favorite football player of all time, Chad Johnson. My favorite football player of all time. He's a Hall of Famer, even though they don't want to put him in. He's a Hall of Famer. So I was big on like him, you know what I'm saying, Deion Sanders. Like I was big. I think when I played, man, I just had like the leggings. I had the leggings and the arm sleeve on. And then, I played with the earrings on the chain. So, I was a receiver, man. You look good, you feel good, you play good. So
Okay. You have any pregame routines that you normally do?
Pre-game routines. Well, every game day, and this is even now as a coach. I've been doing this since like high school. Really, I call my mom every morning on game day, talk to her a little bit. But I just kind of stay to myself and just kind of relax a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm not one of them coaches that gets like real like hype and all. I'm even killed, man. I'm kind of mellowed out. I'll just be locked in and focused on what we got to go out there and do. So.
Okay. Then my final question would be: do you have a message to those out there that might still be on the fence of coming to give you all a shot this season about what they can expect to see from you?
Man, it's thing what I can tell people is this, man, is our guys are putting in a lot of work. They're working hard, but we still got to go out there and play. Right now, we're 0-0. It's a new year, but just looking at our guys, and there's some things we got to clean up, man. But I will say this: being around them, things are different. I feel like the energy is different. They got a new swagger about them. And then us as a staff, we click together. We vibe together. Like I said, we've been together since January, and you couldn't tell being around us. But I think, we're poised to do some good things. We got a lot of really good football players coming back. I know everyone knows about our defensive line, one of the best in the conference. They're coming back. And then quarterback-wise, Stephon Brown's made tremendous strides. We've had tremendous improvement with our O-line. And got to give a big shout-out to our offensive line and even our defensive line. Those guys have done a really good job. We've been on them just about body weight and body comp and nutrition, and they've done a great job of buying in to what we're doing and understanding that in order for us to be successful, it's going to start with those guys. And then you look at our skill positions. I mean, we got a chance to be really explosive then on our back end. When you talk about our linebackers and secondary, those guys are explosive, which you saw throughout the spring. What we're doing defensively is a little different. And then obviously offensively coming in and doing what we do is very tough to defend. So I think we got a really good shot to be good this year here in the fall. So excited about it, man. And September 1st. Can't wait.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time this evening to come on and talk to me. And like I said, I know last season I felt the record was somewhat misleading because there was 2 or 3 one-score games. It is a bad break here, bad break there. And I feel like the talent level is better than the record has suggested. And so I'm really excited to see see what we're looking like. Because I know everybody I've talked to is excited. They bought, the players I talked to, they bought in. They're really hyped about this new beginning. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm wishing you the best of luck this season. And if you ever want to come back on, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, man. And anytime I get a chance to talk UCO football, whether it be recruiting or just talk about the guys, I'm all for it. Just let me know. I'm easy to reach. Like I said, you're doing a good job, man. Just, help grow the brand of UCO and UCO athletics. So shout out to you and to any recruits out there, man. Hey, come check us out, man. Our doors are always open. Reach out to us. We'll set up. So I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.